Hi students, welcome back. Coming to another topic in subject Java programming language is inheritance. So inheritance is one of the important concept because this is one of the object oriented principles. Inheritance, abstraction, polymorphism, these are all the encapsulation. All these four are the principles of the object oriented programming language. First try to understand the principles, then apply those principles on the programming language. Then it will be easy for you to develop any program. Okay, so now let's start. What is an inheritance? First of all, tell me what is an inheritance. Inheritance is nothing but creating a new class from an existing class. Creating a new class you have to be created from already presented class. So creating a new class from an existing class you call as an inheritance. You are acquiring the features of one class to another class. So with the help of that class only, you are going to create a new class. So creating a new class from an existing class. Okay. Inheritance, in inheritance, existed class, whatever the existed class is there, that you call it as a super class. Okay. So what is, suppose the class A. Okay. And then class B. So in inheritance, existed class is said to be superclass. So already first class A is created. This is superclass. And new class is said to be subclass. This is subclass. But if you want to access these features of A class, you have to use a keyword extends. Extends. Class B extends A. Class A. Okay. So class B extends class A. So in the inheritance, you have to use the extend keyword. Now let's see. In inheritance, existed class, whatever the class that is already existed, you can call it as a superclass. And new class, whatever you are created, that you call it as a subclass. Whenever a superclass object is created, please be careful, listen carefully, because this object creation and object reference creation in the superclass and the subclass, it is somewhat complicated. Try to understand it. Whenever a superclass is a top class. So superclass object is created. I created an object. Then memory allocated to superclass member only. Whatever the object that is created for the superclass, that is the memory allocates to superclass only. It won't allocates to subclass. Remember, whenever a superclass object is created, so object is created for the superclass. So then memory allocates to only this class, only to the superclass members only, whatever the members, static members or variables or interfaces, whatever it may be, methods. So that memory allocated to only the superclass only. Okay. So whenever subclass object is created, suppose a subclass object is created, means for the class B object is created. A subclass object is created, then memory allocates to both superclass as well as a subclass. See here, whenever an object is created for this subclass, whenever the object is created for the subclass, then memory allocates to both the superclass members as well as the subclass members. I am writing here it class A object created, okay, allocates memory to only A class. Class A object is created, allocates memory only to A class. Suppose a class B object is created, then allocates memory to both superclass and as well as a subclass. Remember that. So whenever an object is created for the B, then memory allocated to A members as well as the B members also. Means you can access the A members as well as the B members, because we are used the keyword extends. Okay, now let's see. So what do you understand here? Creating a new class from an existing class, you call it as an inheritance. There is two concepts, superclass and the subclass. So whenever the object is created for superclass, memory allocated to only to that class, because this is a unique only. So but here, whenever an object is created to in the B class, memory allocated to A as well as B. You will get a doubt. Why allocates memory to A as well as B? Because we are using the features of A also. Extends A. B is extending A. So whenever B is extending A, so A can also use the memory in the B. That is a concept. Okay. So there are 6 types of inheritance. Single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level, hierarchical, multiple and hybrid. These are the 6 types of inheritance. So this we already seen in the C++ programming language. So let's have a look on. So in Java programming language, which inheritance are useful, that we will see. Single inheritance means derivation of a class from one superclass is called single inheritance. Only one superclass. A derivation of a class from only one superclass. Superclass, this is a class A and this is a class B. So, a derivation of a class from only one superclass, then we call it as a single inheritance. Only single inheritance. Okay. Then what about the multiple inheritance? So, multiple inheritance means derivation of a class from more than one superclass. See here, more than one superclass. So A class is there, B class, both are the superclass. So derivation of a class from more than one superclass, then you call it as a multiple inheritance. So remember student, multiple inheritance is not supported in Java because to reduce the complexity and the simplifying the Java programming language, it does not support multiple inheritance because A is a superclass and the B is a superclass. So if you are acquiring the features of A and B, then it is very complicated for the compiler to understand which object is created. Okay, so it is somewhat more complication. So that's why multiple inheritance is not supported in Java through classes. Okay, through classes. Next is multi-level inheritance. Derivation of a class from subclass. Subclass is called multi-level. So this is a superclass and this is subclass, and derivation of, this is another class. Derivation of a class from subclass. From subclass. This you call it as a multi-level inheritance. Okay. Then what about next? Hierarchical inheritance. What do you mean by hierarchical inheritance? Derivation of a several classes from only one superclass. Only one superclass is there, but more than one subclasses are there. Okay, more than one subclasses are there. So this is derivation of several classes from only one superclass is called as hierarchical inheritance. Then what about the multi-path inheritance? So multi-path inheritance means derivation of, derivation of class from more than one subclass. Those subclasses get inherited from the same superclass is called multi-path. This is called multi-path. So derivation of a class, there is a derivation of a class from more than one subclass. More than one subclass is there, and those subclasses get inherited from the same superclass is called multi-path. And next, hybrid inheritance. So what is this hybrid inheritance? So hybrid inheritance means derivation of a class involving more than one form of inheritance. So here more than one form of inheritance is there. A, B, C and D. See here. So this is hybrid inheritance. Derivation of a class involving more than one form of inheritance is called hybrid inheritance. So these are all the basic definitions of the inheritance. So let's see which inheritance are supported by the Java programming language. Multi-path inheritance is also one example of hybrid inheritance. Multi-path, whatever the multi-path is there, so that inheritance is also one example of hybrid inheritance. What is multi-path? Derivation of a class from more than one superclass is called multiple inheritance. So multi-path, so that is whatever I said here. So just recall it. Derivation of a class from more than one subclass, those subclasses get inherited from the same superclass is called multipath. So this multipath is also one example of it's nothing but a hybrid inheritance. And remember that Java does not support multiple inheritance, multipath inheritance and hybrid inheritance. These three inheritance are not supported by Java programming language. Remember students, multiple inheritance is not supported, multi-path inheritance is not supported, and hybrid inheritance is not supported. Then what is supported? Single inheritance is supported, multi-level is supported, and hierarchical is supported. Only 3 types of inheritance will be supported out of 6. So multipath, multiple and hybrid is not supported in Java programming language. Only single inheritance, multi-level inheritance and hierarchical inheritance, that will be supported. Single inheritance is what? So this is a single inheritance. Okay. And then multi-level inheritance. This is also supported. This is also supported, and hierarchical inheritance. So one superclass, more than one subclass. This is also supported. These are all supported. Okay. So Java does not support multiple inheritance. Why? Because there is an ambiguity to call. Because of ambiguity to call, Java does not support the multiple inheritance. Java does not support multipath and hybrid. Why it is not supporting multipath and hybrid? Because both type contains the multiple inheritance. Already multiple is not supported, and hybrid and multipath is a combination of the multiple inheritance only. So that's why these 3 inheritance are not supported. You have to remember only single, multi-level and hierarchical will be supported. Now let's have a look on some example.